So today I am going to attempt to make a wig for a doll head. I tested out this piece to see how it go, and this is what I got so far. So this is what we want to do. First, I'm taking and looping the thread, the yarn, onto a bamboo stick. For each bamboo stick, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strands. You're going to need about 20 of these. Okay, so to get your yarn looking like this, first we need to take it and unravel and untwist the yarn, and then we're going to brush it out. I find it pretty simple to just untwist the yarn at the top and just carefully unravel it. It might tangle a bit at the end, that's okay. There we go. And you gotta do this to each single piece. So we're gonna be here a while. A good while. Okay, so I have done 4 so far. I used some watered down tacky glue to do it, the Aleene's tacky glue, and we're gonna see how it goes. Like I said, this is an experiment, strictly from watching other YouTubers create wigs for their dolls, creating these yarn wefts, and I'm gonna see how it goes for my first try, and you guys get to go along for the ride. Alright, there you have it. I have done 5. I've got to do 15 more. I made a total of 20 wefts, yarn wefts. So, we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, it's the following morning. I let the wefts of yarn dry overnight, and I carefully removed this set here from the where I had glued it down. As you can see, it's dry now and it's in one piece. This is what it looks like when I set them down on each, I glue them down on just a piece of plastic packaging. So now I gotta carefully remove each one, and then I'll just trim out the edge to straighten it up, and then we can get to forming the wig and see how that goes. Alright, so that is all 20 of the yarn wefts that I made yesterday. A couple of them broke on me, but that's okay because I know that I will have to trim them down once I start working on the wig. So now I'm just going to trim and even up the edges like I did with these. So I have a nice even edge, and we're going to start on that. Oh, so nervous. Okay, here we go. All right, so there we go. I got all 20 wefts done and prepped, and we are ready to get on with making this wig. Okay, so to get started on this, I fashioned something with the doll stand that I could put the head on top of, so I can get started with this. Next, I'm going to wrap the head with some plastic wrap several times, and I've got my hot glue gun here heating up as I get the head prepped. So here we go. I think I'm going to go ahead and do 3 layers of the saran wrap. Not sure. This is just kind of guessing what will stabilize it best. Just a nice thick. I will probably permanently attach the wig to her head eventually, as long as it all goes good and it's not a total fail. So I'm just gonna let my glue gun heat up a few more minutes and then we will get started. Okay, I think I got everything ready. I positioned the camera here so we could see the top of her head a little better. And got my scissors, glue gun ready, extra glue sticks. We're ready to go. Let's jump into it. Here we go. First, I'm going to start with the hairline. I'm going to go ahead and just do a regular middle part down her head. I think I could follow this, which was her original part. It might be easier to follow that line, but I think for now I'm just going to stick to the middle, because that, in the long run, that might be easier for me as I go around and do the rest of her head. So, first off, I'm going to measure, see how much I need to go across the crown of her head. So, I'm thinking I'm going to stop right about there. Where that line is. So that means I'm going to need to cut off just a small portion. And once you just cut into the glue part, the hair separates. Now, since I'm working on the part, I'm going to have to do a little offset so I can fold the hair over so it has a nice clean edge. So to do that, I think I am going to, I don't want to get Sharpie marker on my, so here we go. So since I want this to fold over, I'm going to put it this way and then fold it over once it dries. It's right on that hairline, right back there. So there we go. And then once it dries and sets, it's going to fold over like this. Oh man. You know what? I'm thinking maybe I should add some more glue to there. So it's just a little more secure. at the end there. All right. Now, I seem to pick, I picked a choice yarn weft for my first try. This one has a little bit of glue chunked in here. So I'm gonna have to carefully cut that out. And then we can move on. Yeah. Cut the rest of that out. Otherwise she's gonna have this flyaway like sticking straight up. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't. Alright. There we go. Now I'm gonna move on to the other side of our hairline. So we're gonna need to cut it. Down to the length we want, and you know what? It's just gonna break it right there. Now this one we're gonna have to glue down going this way and then fold it over for the center part. So I'm gonna glue right along the edge of this hairline. This is when I wish I had a smaller glue gun for this. Oh, nope. Gotta do it the right way. Push it right along that other hairline. Get it in there really good. Now I didn't bother removing the color off her scalp because I figured, you know, if it does show through, that's fine because her hair would naturally be dark, so the roots would be dark. I've thought about dyeing the hair to give it a more realistic look, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump on that just yet. So far we've got that. Not looking too shabby. You know, it's really not that hard. It's just seems like it's really a tedious process, of course. So that's where the difficulty is. I think next, and I've watched a lot of YouTubers do it, I've seen they started with the hairline and then they do the back and then they do the hairline along around the ears and the back of the head. And then they start running in the wefts in between, just layering from bottom up. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay, somehow I lost video footage of the working on the hairline around the back and the sides, but here it is. I've done that. Now I'm gonna continue working up the back and the sides of the scalp until I've done, and I'm thinking probably about 3 rows or so will be good. I'm also finding that adding the glue to the weft is easier than putting it on straight onto the saran wrap. My glue gun gets pretty hot. It doesn't have a low and high setting, so I'm finding it better to do it that way than put it straight to the saran wrap. Okay, not looking too bad. I think I may have gotten her hairline, her part, just a little off center too much, but that's okay. You know, nothing's ever perfect in real life. So I think a couple more rows will do it from what I could see. I might have to add one more on this side than opposed to this side, but once we get there, I'll know more or less. So now I'm just gonna start on the back side here and then work my way around the sides until I'm done. Okay, so the only thing left to do will be to just run another row right along the top here, so there's not too much of a gap to give a little bit more body to her hair, I think, because otherwise it might just look a little too thin there, plus you can see through. So I think that'll be best. And especially on this side, I'll do this side first and then see if I really need to do the other side. But I think that is it. I don't think I need to do the back of her head anymore. It's pretty thick and full. So here we go. We're on the home stretch now, and then it'll be getting this contraption off her head. Okay, so I did the one side, and I'm not sure if I should do the other side, but I think with just a thin, small amount, I will, because you can still kind of see just a little bit of gap there. So that is going to be the last weft we apply, and then I've got to get this off her head, and hopefully it all works out. Because that is what I'm most nervous about, is getting this off and getting it to fit properly. All right, she's done. I don't think there's much else I can do. I think I've done a pretty good job of keeping the hairline around where it should be. Of course, there's always going to be mistakes on your first try. Whenever you do something, you're going to learn. I realized that cutting the glued edge, even smaller than this, was really crucial in being able to bend the weft around the curve of the head, and also just giving it, you know, it takes up less space on the scalp, so it just makes a much cleaner form. So when I was about halfway through the head, I realized, yeah, I need to cut it shorter. I was so nervous to do that at first because I didn't want to undo all the gluing I had done on these wefts, but that is really crucial. So I learned that, and I have, like, oh gosh, I still have half of the hair wefts left here. I made a total of 20, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 left. So I could easily do another head if I need to try it again. But this was a lot of fun. The hair is super soft and fluffy, you know, because it's yarn. And I've done yarn reroots before, but none like this where you brush the yarn out. So next up is getting this head off of here and hoping the wig works out. Because oh my gosh, that is the most scariest part, you know, when you come to the end and you've got the final step and you just don't want to screw it up because you've done pretty good so far. So here's to hoping it is not a fail. Well, I got it off, so now I just gotta trim each layer carefully and fit the wig back on. Wow. Whew. Here we go. Moment of truth. And it went right on there, just like that. There we go. She has got a wig now. Wow. Looking pretty good. Now I gotta see if I have a body for her, because I'm not sure if she currently has a body. This was a extra doll head I had from the Soccer Made to Move doll, I believe. This was the soccer girl. So now to glue it on and let it dry and then find her a body. Get her dressed and styled up. I think she's gonna look super cute. I've got her on a body, and I was determining which glue I should use. I thought about hot gluing it, but I think instead I'm just gonna go with E6000 because it has a little bit more give, and this way it can just dry and adhere better. I just think the hot glue might warp the vinyl or something, so I don't want to take that risk. So I'm going to do the E6000 and then let it set up for about an hour and come back and check on it. So that's what I'm going to do. pull it over a little, making sure it's where it should be. And then while it's drying, I think I'm going to put some saran wrap over her head just to help lay it flat. Okay, there. I'm not gonna leave this on for too long, probably about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. And I will come back and check on it. So we will see how it looks then, and then I can style the hair. Okay, so the wig has been sitting in place for about an hour now. It's really nice and snug on there. I could see some imperfections, but you know, nothing that terribly distracts from the whole aesthetic of the wig. So overall, I'm happy with it. Definitely something I gotta practice more to perfect it and make it look much neater. But now comes the fun part, which will be cutting the hair, because while I could leave it this length, I don't want to. I want it to be a little bit more thinned out and shorter. So that is the next step. Trimming the hair.